Alright guys, welcome back to the 17th Adult Adventure video. So the new Dragon Slayer DERIERI is here. By far, probably the best artwork in the game. Absolutely love the design. However, I do not love the character. I do think this character is a skip, like I did say in my last video, because it's very obvious looking at the character's kit. That actually won't get me too crazy. The big thing on why I use some characters nowadays is what the purpose is, right? If we look at the last few characters, like for example, Fat King had a use. He was actually usable and not too bad to use in PvP if you hadn't duped Tau. But by far, the biggest use a little bit was in Tower Trials, because we didn't have a good AoE damage healer for Tower Trials. Zell just kind of fit that bill a little bit, but it took time for him to build up, and sometimes you couldn't clear through all of it. So having King and even summoning King just for Tower Trials wasn't necessarily the worst idea. However, when it comes to this character right here, guys, I'm struggling to find a use. You'll see the gameplay. PvP, she's like actually not that great. It is a tank character. They've only ever done 2, and when it comes towards tanks in, Adult Adventure, it's hard to make them shine, right? Because the only job is to tank damage, right? So unless they're like a billion damage back, they're probably not going to be that good unless you have an absolute use in the game. Where for her, you kind of get the same thing with Draw. The only difference is that her ultimate, if you don't know, does give final attack and defense towards your tank characters, which does mean you do give 20% attack towards Esterosa. So his full counter does end up doing more damage. However, just use Elaine. Elaine does it on passively through an actual skill here, which not only gives you 20% more attack, also gives you more critical resistance and crit defense, so they're not going to crit you, and if they do crit you, they're going to do less damage too. And this is passively every 5 seconds, and this applies towards green characters, so it can apply towards Esterosa, it can apply towards your Munspeed, it can apply towards your Escanor, so you're buffing up 4 characters including yourself. Maybe you're even using Fat King. There's 5 characters on the team, where right now, at least the team that I was using in, because once again, buffing up tank characters damage is literally only Esterosa. You only need to do 1 character. Like I say, there is a possibility that the character coming out in 2 weeks time for our 6-month anniversary could be a tank Assault more Meliodas. That's the only way I can see her being like, yo, okay, maybe she actually got used to the game. And at that point, you might want to have her, but for right now, no, guys, she is definitely not worth summoning. I will say, in terms of damage wise in Tower Trials, it was decent, but that's only because I put her in the front in terms of ultimate usage. But since she is a blue character, you can also use Berserk Melee in the team, which just means Berserk Melee can do most of the carrying anyway, right? And you can just use Draw. Sure, it might be okay to actually use a character with invincibility, but you gotta remember, she has immortality, right? Which is 10 seconds, which means you kind of don't even need to summon a character. Honestly, getting a character just once and throw it in your team to where you can survive for 10 seconds alongside Draw, surviving for another 10 seconds. That's actually not the worst idea, and thankfully you do get 1 copy for free by doing this event. If you complete it, you do get 1 copy. So honestly, guys, just do this event, get the 1 free copy, and yeah, throw in your Tower Trials team and just let your Berserk Melee do all the carrying. I will say one thing is that is kind of weird is her attack speed is 63, very, very low, but I done the math, right? Her actual multiply for a normal skill, which is what only thing she's going to use, right? Because that happens every 63 attack speed, where this skill is every 5 seconds. This is I think if you add it up, is if you half it and double the attack speed, I think she's got like 113 attack speed, and if you compare it towards like what the actual normal skill is, it would be like 116. So like her attack speed in terms of damage and stuff isn't too bad, even though it is slow. She does make up for it in like damage. But even then, like nothing too impressive. Ultimate, like I say, is pretty big, but in PvP, it was just not doing damage. I think the only thing is though is that she is 6-star right now, so characters, once they start scaling up a lot more, definitely are a lot better. In terms of the evasion that you do get, I didn't notice at all in PvP. She might have a little bit of a use if you summon her now, or even just get her progressively over the next few months. And when she's like, what, like 10, 11 star, where she's got like pretty decent stats, then, hey, maybe she's not the worst character to throw into your team. But right now, if it wasn't already apparent with the half anniversary coming in 2 weeks time, definitely not worth summoning. So yeah, we're gonna jump into gameplay, but hey, at least she looks cool, right? This is a charge effect. No, that's the ultimate. She does have like a little effect around the board, but it doesn't show up for some reason on like normal stages. You see it in PvP. This is the ejection one, which is kind of weird because she normally goes backwards in Grand Cross, where in this game she goes forward. And yeah, her normal little punch skill is this here. Is this here? That little 3-hit combo, which only does like 1 damage. I do say in the video, but I think her main use might be in base defense. This might be what the character is made for, because she is not a DPS character. She's a tank, and having immortality to kind of stall against the massive red demons when you go towards base defense, you know, past wave 60 towards like the higher ranks, then maybe, and plus buff up your Estarossa, there may be a strat where she actually might be usable in base defense part 2. So we have to wait and see if people like find a use for her in this. But like I said, you can just use a lane, like which some people already done. You can see here. Alright, so let's try her out in PvP. Of course, going to put in the front line. We also have our ultimate order, stuff like this, right? I want to try King, because King will give her 20% extra attack because she's a blue character. And her ultimate also gives her 20% extra attack. So that might make her a little bit more of a DPS character. I kind of want to see her damage, especially because we do have attack rolls onto her. I might have to make another video going over like what are the best potentials for her to see if like, you know, 4 evasion or 4 HP is probably a bit better for the character. But I guess the hard part will be trying to time the actual ultimate with Estor's counter. However, since it does reduce Estor's cooldown by like 2 seconds, that should make it so we probably likely use the counter anyway. But hey, let's see if the character is tanky. Let's see if she actually is good. We'll go up against someone similar to CC here, so let's check. Her animations are a bit weird. I probably would have shook it to start the intro, but like her AoE like ultimate doesn't look like it does big like damage nuke. Oh, here you go. Like how much damage is she doing? I mean, of course, pitch black melee. I mean, not a lot there. 100k. She, of course, is tanking, but honestly, right now, it's just DERIERI's fighting each other. Because obviously, they are going towards Estarossa. So, DERIERI's not doing much here. Of course, you kind of just got to think, like... Was that the ultimate? That big AoE effect? That might have been. I might need to order my characters a bit differently. 500k. I don't know if that was good, because I think both DERIERIs just stared at each other for like the whole fight. They didn't do anything. Yeah, I think that's the effect there. That's kind of cool. Where if we set her up, I mean, you got to think about it, right? She's technically giving more damage towards Estarossa. But like I said, you get that from a lane. 700k is like, okay, I mean, you know, Escanor did nothing. Escanor got one shot, I think. What killed him? I mean, honestly, Escanor's are getting wiped by Estarossas, by the way. Estarossa meta right now is being crazy. They just die. Even like Tower Trials, my Escanor I know is just like it's instantly one-shotted. Okay, let's change our team a little bit. Let's actually put DERIERI in front. I know we kind of want Estarossa to tank a little bit, but if they all go towards her, then Estarossa can like taunt them towards him. And if she's still in the front line doing damage, that's probably the best thing. But once again, we're not expected to be a big DPS, right? She is a tank. That can probably do a little bit of damage, right? But if she can do a little... Oh, wow, we got wiped. She got the immortality. With the damage. 300k? What killed us? Is that Berserk Melee must be built up? 110? I mean, Merlin's doing more damage. Estor's doing a lot, though. Like I said, Estor's somewhere around there is crazy. To be fair, he actually got another DERIERI. Maybe that's why we died. Yeah, I mean, that's almost a max pitch black melee. I mean, she didn't do much either, right? I mean, obviously, she took a lot of damage. That's the main thing. But, like, she's a tank character. But I feel like I'd rather use King. Because King is, like, a pretty decent backline DPS. And even a lane would probably be good, too. Alright, similar CC again. Let's see. So, the ult into her. Does she die quick? I mean, the thing is, though, we don't really have a healer. I mean, we do have, obviously, Elizabeth, but... How much damage? Yeah, like I said, bro, the SROs is just killing everyone. 200k. I think I'd rather choose the other DERIERI. Because, like, low-key, the other DERIERI is quite tanky. And she's way more accessible. Yeah. I think this might be one of the first characters that have come out in the game where, like, I mean, that's the problem, though. It is kind of hard to evaluate a tank. That's kind of why Esther also was so special, because he was a tank, but as you can see, he does like 1 billion damage back, right? Because of the actual reflect counter, where you're not going to kind of get that from an actual DPS tank. I'm sure, once again, she is a low deep level. Maybe if she got up there towards, like, you know, similar deep levels towards, like, Estarossa, she might be okay. We'll try it in Tower Trials, though. I've been stuck on, like, stage 41. I progressed my count so much since the last done it. Berserk Melee should be able to rip through it. And I think that's probably the biggest problem, right, is... Why would you summon her? Like, I know there are times where, like, okay, this character's really good in Tower Trials, like King and, like, Elaine, for example, for, like, the lights or the yellows and also greens were really good. But, I mean, that's good damage. But you have Berserk Melee, right? Do you really need another tank? Probably better than Draw. I think that's what it is, though. Like, can I just replace Draw in terms of DPS? But it's probably, like, not needed, though, right? Because you have Berserk melee. To be fair, I will say there are times, and if we do find like an Esterosa, your pitchback melee might actually get wrecked. But she's only doing the most damage because we are putting her in the front, where if we just put Berserk melee will do all the damage anyway. But at least she could just do some damage. Yeah, 4 bill. It's nice. I think a lot of people are saying, and I might tend to agree to it as well, is good AoE damage, also a commandment, and you also buff up Esterosa. So that does mean when it comes to base defense part 2, people are saying that that's probably what she's being made for, right? Because every character in the game has kind of had a niche a little bit where, like, they're made for something. And so far, and even someone like King was definitely made for, like, Tower Trials a little bit. That can be used outside of PP. Definitely actually really good in PP too. But I think she might be made just for base defense part 2. Yeah, I mean, damage is decent, but you have big melee. So I think, boys, that might wrap up the video. I would say for, like, a character showcase, definitely on the more disappointing side, because it's like there's no point, right? Like when it does come to a PvP, or I mean maybe it's a bit more better in Brawl because you have a lot more characters to use and you're a bit more limited, right? But you're way better off just using Esterosa. If anything, she might even take away from Esterosa doing more damage because you obviously want to reflect counter back. The attack buff, you'd actually rather just bring a lane because then you can bring King and have actually a pretty good combo a little bit too, and also bring Monspeed and Escanor that would then buff up the green characters on your team, and Elaine does see it out the fight, so she's not instantly gonna die. And since she is a blue character, when it comes to those Tower Trials, you pretty much just have Berserk melee. Sure, it's good always to have an extra AoE damage dealer, because if Berserk melee does happen to die or something happens, then you want to have someone else that can follow up some good damage. So I'm not gonna say she's completely useless, but like definitely not even worth summoning right now. However, like I did say, there is always a possibility that the next character comes out in 2 weeks time is a tank assault melee, where getting an extra 20% attack for your tank character that is assault melee may actually not be the worst thing, right? So I think there will be use for it in the future, especially if they do add Guild Wars. But yeah, I'd say in the very long time, this is like the first like skip, which is heartbreaking because you probably want to look at better looking characters. It's DERIERI. Could change better, definitely, but for now, boys, just skip and get your free copy in this new event. At least she looks cool though. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video, and yeah.